Hello, you're watching TVP World News. I'm Jan Śrewicki. Today marks the third anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, with events across the world commemorating the victims of Russian war crimes and celebrating the resilience of Ukraine's defenders. As ceasefire negotiations are about to begin, Ukraine faces a pivotal moment in its history. We'll be bringing you more on this story in a moment. First, however, the latest update on parliamentary elections in Germany. According to exit polls, the German conservative opposition CDU/CSU coalition is set to win the country's general elections and be tasked with forming the new government. Friedrich Merz, if tapped to become the next chancellor, will have to undertake tough coalition talks as the hard-right Alternative for Deutschland party has surged to second place. Following the announcement of exit poll numbers, Merz said that, and I quote, "He is in close contact with many prime ministers, heads of government of the European Union. And it must be an absolute priority to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible, so that step by step Europe achieves independence from the United States." According to exit polls, the Christian Democrats scored around 28% of the vote, which should give them around 208 seats in the new parliament. The party of the outgoing Chancellor Olaf Scholz slid back to third place with around 16% of the vote, 4% less than in the 2021 general elections. The second force in the German parliament will now be the extreme right AfD, led by Alice Weidel, with which all major parties refused to form a coalition prior to the elections. This is the best result ever for the AfD, which has seen landslide victories in the lands of former East Germany, with the only exception being Berlin, where the left has won. The Christian Democrats, on the other hand, were victorious in the western parts of the country. Friedrich Merz was jubilant following the announcement of German parliamentary election exit polls numbers. As the leader of the Christian Democratic Union, Merz is set to become the country's new chancellor.
Now we will have to wait for further election results. But the conclusion is clear. And what have I been saying for the last few days? Tonight, a serious party is allowed here at Konrad Adenauer House. Tonight we will celebrate, and starting tomorrow morning we will work. Dear friends, once again, welcome to Adenauer House. Welcome to where the Conservatives' victory was achieved and where it will be celebrated tonight. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the government mandate which the Conservatives received today. Thank you.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz called his party's election performance a bitter result, as the Social Democrats came third in Sunday's vote at 16%. Such a result means that Scholz will have to step down as the country's chancellor.
This is a bitter election result for the Social Democratic Party and also an election defeat. I think that must be stated clearly and unequivocally at the beginning. And it is also very important for me to say that this is a result from which we must move forward together.
The 24th of February is the third year mark of the start of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa traveled to Ukraine's capital Kyiv this morning to reaffirm support for, and I quote, "the heroic Ukrainian people and their democratically elected President Volodymyr Zelensky." While in Kyiv, the European Commission leader will hold a meeting with President Zelensky. Von der Leyen is also expected to unveil a €3.5 billion package of financial aid to the war-torn country. This will be her 9th visit to Ukraine since the start of the invasion. Earlier on Sunday evening, European Council President Antonio Costa announced that a special European Council meeting on long-term security for Europe and Ukraine will be held on the 6th of March. Apart from Costa and von der Leyen, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau arrived in the Ukrainian capital on Monday morning. Foreign delegations from Latvia, Lithuania, Canada, Estonia and Spain will also soon arrive in Kyiv to express solidarity with the war-torn country. Now, 3 years after Russia's brutal invasion on Ukraine, Bucha and Irpin stand as stark reminders of both immense suffering and remarkable resilience in the face of aggression. As we revisit these roads once marked by chaos, we honor the enduring spirit of the Ukrainian people and their fight for justice and freedom. Don Arleth reports.
This is the road from Kyiv to Bucha and Irpin, places that are both symbols of unimaginable pain and staunch resistance when Russia launched the full-scale invasion of Ukraine exactly 3 years ago. We were there when these cities were liberated and Russian soldiers fled after unsuccessfully trying to conquer and occupy the capital of Kyiv. Here, in these places 3 years later, we are returning to remind you who the Ukrainian people are fighting against. In late February, early March 2022, the Battle of Irpin took place. It was part of a major offensive by Russian forces aimed at encircling the Ukrainian capital. Throughout the first week of March, heavy street fighting took place for control of the city. This is one such site. On 23rd of March 2022, the Ukrainian authorities reported that 80% of the city was under their control. 5 days later, Russian troops began their withdrawal, abandoning the effort to take Kyiv by force. From February 27th to March 29th, 2022, Russian troops occupied nearby Bucha. More than 1,700 civilians were killed in the entire Bucha district, including around 700 in Bucha itself. Almost all the bodies bear the marks of deliberate murder by Vladimir Putin's troops. What many Westerners refer to as blatant war crimes, Vladimir Putin considered these barbaric acts the work of national heroes. That's why he awarded the 64th Independent Motorized Brigade, which was stationed in the city, with the title of, quote, Guards for protecting Russia's sovereignty. Russia! Ukraine began the daunting task of investigating the crimes committed in Bucha to hold those accountable in the hopes that one day they face justice.
Before attending an extraordinary UN General Assembly summit on Ukraine, the Polish foreign minister commented on the situation in the war-torn country. In an interview with CNN, Radosław Sikorski said that with support from Europe, Ukraine can hold out against the Russian army until the end of the year. The Polish foreign minister went on to say that only Ukraine can decide whether it wants to continue fighting or not, and added that the best security guarantee for Ukraine is a 1 million strong standing army. At the same time, Poland's chief diplomat accused Russia of circumventing Western sanctions, with the Kremlin secretly selling 100 tons of gold to save the Russian economy. Sikorski's comments came ahead of his statement at a special session of the United Nations General Assembly, which he is scheduled to deliver on Monday. A Foreign Affairs Council meeting chaired by EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy Kaja Kallas has begun in Brussels. At the gathering, EU foreign ministers will discuss some of the most pressing issues, including the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
We have to support Ukraine right now more than ever. We are discussing and hopefully can pass the 16th package of sanctions, which includes gaming consoles to shadow fleet, the different aspects. And then we have also put forward a new defense initiative to support Ukraine with ammunition capabilities in the short term, what they need. So I also expect this political discussion to be moved forward. And then, of course, what more can we do?
Thousands gathered at main squares of cities and towns across the world to commemorate the third-year mark of the war in Ukraine. Prague, Paris, Toronto, Boston and Dublin. Also people marching, waving Ukrainian flags and demanding solidarity with the embattled country. In the historic old town of the Czech Republic's capital, thousands assembled for the Together for Ukraine rally in Prague, bringing together Czechs and Ukrainians, voicing support for the Ukrainian military. Meanwhile, more than 10,000 people gathered at the Republic Square in Paris to observe the third-year mark of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Supporters marched behind a banner calling for unity with Ukraine, at the same time unfurling a 262-meter-long Ukrainian flag. Similar demonstrations took place in Toronto and in Boston, where crowds expressed their disappointment at how US aid for Ukraine was depicted as a handout rather than a check on Russia's further expansion. We're finishing our demonstration breakdown in Dublin, where hundreds of Ukrainians marched through the city. And now we're coming back to Germany. The elections in Germany sparked comments all around Europe. Overnight, leaders of France, United Kingdom and Ukraine took to social media to congratulate the prospective winner, Friedrich Merz. Emmanuel Macron went on to say he is determined to work toward a strong and sovereign Europe, while Keir Starmer declared he intends to deepen the British-German security partnership.
I have just spoken with Friedrich Merz to congratulate him on his victory in the Bundestag elections. I also had a conversation with Olaf Scholz this evening to express my friendship. We are more determined than ever to achieve great things for France and Germany together and to work toward a strong and sovereign Europe. In these times of uncertainty, we stand united to face the great challenges of the world and our continent. Congratulations to Friedrich Merz and CDU-CSU for the results in Germany's election. I look forward to working with the new government to deepen our already strong relationship, enhance our joint security, and deliver growth for both our countries. I congratulate the CDU-CSU and Friedrich Merz on their victory in the Bundestag elections. A clear voice from the voters, and we see how important this is for Europe. Europe must be able to defend itself, develop its industries, and achieve the necessary results. Europe needs shared successes, and those successes will bring even greater unity to Europe.
And with this, we conclude our news bulletin. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.